we think about some of the practices that are out there, you know, from the North American culture, the Western culture, may be a little bit different than in some of the other regions throughout the world. For instance, greeting somebody. It's a normal practice to extend your right hand and to shake their hand. Nothing wrong with that. And that is expected at most of the countries out there. Some places they don't shake hands, they hug, some kiss from side to side, some actually just bow. But if you are going to extend your hand, always make sure that it is your right hand in some countries, and especially in the Far Eastern countries like Turkey and Saudi Arabia, because they don't extend their left hand. That is a complete insult and actually a horrific move for you to do, because it is in their culture you eat with your right hand and you go to the bathroom with your left hand. And so therefore in our culture we will do our right. If we were to do the left, it wouldn't be that big a deal, but in the Middle Eastern countries and in some of those Far Eastern countries, it is a big deal. Another one is tipping. It is common practice in North America that anytime that you're in the hospitality industry that you tip after your services have been rendered, right? Well, that's mainly because they don't get paid enough. So therefore their salary is kind of supplemented by your tipping. Whereas in a lot of the other countries out there, their salaries are not based on them being tipped. So they are paid according to their standards and adequacy. So therefore it is not necessary for you to tip them. Now, if you want to, in Britain, in France, in a lot of the European countries, if you want to tip them, not a problem. But in Japan, do not tip in Japan. It is considered an insult. Burping is another one. Yeah, burping is rude, isn't it? I mean, you don't just belch out when you're sitting at the table. As you'd pardon yourself, you would, you know, say, excuse me, you'd feel embarrassed. You know, it's not an appropriate behavior. But in the Middle Eastern countries, it is extremely acceptable, as well as it is encouraged. When you belch after you've had a meal, you are telling the chef, you are telling the host, that was enjoyable. You are satisfied, you've had enough, and therefore that's a sign of respect. And they love it. The next one is slurping and making loud noises when you eat. All of us have been taught when we were little to not make noises when we eat, and also eat with your mouth closed, right? So that we're not making any loud, sloppy, slurpy noises. Well, in China, it's the opposite. The more that you slurp your food, again, you are telling your host you are thoroughly enjoying your meal. So go ahead, make as much noise as you like when you're in China. There, that gives you some idea of some of the cultures and the manners out there that are different from what we have here. If you want to make your trip the most enjoyable, and also you want to compliment them wherever you happen to be traveling to, and you want to show them respect, know their cultures, know their manners, and practice those.